the free OpManager training series. Hope you have no hassles in hearing and viewing this presentation. If any, please do let us know through the chat panel. Once we receive few confirmations, we will proceed with the webinar. Okay, we have received few confirmations. Let us proceed. My name is Venga. I'm with the OpManager team for the past couple of years, and I would be the trainer for the today's session. I hope you all know that this is a 4-part training series. First, we started on April 7th with discovery and classification module, where we saw on how to discover the devices on OpManager and how OpManager classifies various devices. Followed by on April 14th, we saw in depth on how to monitor the server performance. So today, we'll be talking on the topic monitoring the network performance as well as maps. And finally, we would end the session with fault management and IT automation, which will happen on April 28th. So for the benefit of the larger audience, we are connecting this webinar in 2 different time zones. One is at 6 a.m. GMT and the other one will be at 11 a.m. EDT, which is now. So in case if you have missed to join any of the past webinar series, then you can access the link which is available on the screen, where we have uploaded the recorded video of this webinar, which will be easy for you to view. Also, you can access the OpManager Tech videos, which is our YouTube channel, in order to view the same videos. We also have a team of panelists who will be answering all your questions. So in case if you have any queries or in case if you have any doubts, please do comment it in the chat panel and our panelists will be answering to all your queries. So yes, let us proceed with monitoring the network performance module. So let me give you a quick agenda of what we are going to see today. We'll be seeing on the simplified end-to-end network monitoring. We'll be seeing in depth on the various interface templates which OpManager has, how to create groups, as well as how to monitor the interfaces. We'll be also talking on custom SNMP monitor, IPSA, as well as how to create maps on OpManager. So hope you all know that OpManager is a network monitoring solution where you can monitor any devices which is reachable from the OpManager install server. So when it comes to network monitoring, OpManager can monitor devices such as router, switches, firewalls, as well as we extend the support to network printers. So when it comes to monitoring a router, it is important that you need to monitor the metrics such as the CPU and memory usage, active IPsec sessions, buffer failures, as well as IP routing discards. And when it comes to switch, the most important parameter which everyone commonly monitors is the backplane utilization. And when it comes to a device, an L3 device like firewall, it is necessary that you need to monitor metrics such as the concurrent users, active VPN tunnels, as well as the active sessions, along with the CPU and the memory utilization. And when it comes to network printers, you can monitor the toner level, whether the toner is low or there is no toner. You can monitor a paper jam or how many papers has been printed so far. So parameters like this can be monitored on OpManager. So let me take you to the UI and let me show you. So from the UI, you can navigate to network all devices, where it will show you all the network devices which you have already added on to OpManager. So depending upon your device, so we have categorized the devices accordingly, as you see here, router, printers, firewall, etc. So you can easily select the appropriate category and navigate to the appropriate page. So this is an example of the router page. So once a router is added, all the details of this particular router, along with the availability timeline, is displayed in the summary page. As you see, you can see the availability timeline as well as the availability dial. So you can directly monitor, you can directly navigate to the monitors page in case if you wanted to have any monitors associated. As you see, I already have few monitors associated to it, but in case if you wanted to add any other monitors apart from this, then yes, you can just choose add performance monitor from the actions, where all the monitors would be automatically populated. So depending upon your requirement, you can just select the appropriate monitor and click on add, which would automatically add the appropriate monitor. So the same goes for switches as well as printers as well. So let me take you to a printer and let me show you. So this is a network printer which we are monitoring in our organization, an HP printer. So yes, as I said earlier, you can directly go to the monitors tab. As you see here, pages printed monitors already associated. However, in case if you wanted to add an additional monitor, which will monitor the tone or color level, then yes, as you see here, we have various monitors for various colors, which is already there in the printer. So current tone level, black, cyan. So according to your requirement, you can just select the appropriate monitor and just choose add, which would automatically start adding the appropriate monitor. So now we have seen on how the various network device is classified on how to add additional monitors. The next is the interface monitoring. So with OpManager, you can also monitor the interfaces for any network devices. However, the basic prerequisite for monitoring interface is the SNMP credential. So in case if you have associated the SNMP credential and if the SNMP credential is passing, then yes, you can very well monitor the interfaces, with which you can monitor the health status of various interfaces. You can monitor the transmit and receive traffic which is flowing through that appropriate interface. You can also monitor the errors and discards rate. And as I said earlier, everything is based on SNMP based credentials. However, we also have flow based solution which is available with us. So in case if you wanted to monitor based on the flows, then yes, we have an add-on called Net Flow Analyzer with OpManager. So you can use that add-on and you can monitor the interface based on flows as well. So let me take you to the UI and let me show you the various interfaces. So as you see here, we have a dedicated tab for interfaces alone, so which you can access by navigating to inventory interfaces, which would fetch the complete list of interface which is already discovered on OpManager. So from this, you can just navigate to any interface page and you can view the appropriate statistics. So let me take you to a routers interface page and let me show you that. So I'm just navigating to the router 3 page, which I showed you earlier. So once you are in the summary page, you can just choose interfaces, which would automatically list the interfaces which is associated with this particular router. And you can get into any one of the interface summary page, which would show you the operational status, the admin status, the availability of this particular interface, as well as it would show you the various interface graphs as well. So metrics such as how many bytes is transferred, what is the traffic which is flowing through the interface, everything would automatically start monitoring once the interface is added. In case if you wanted to view the interface graphs for a particular time period, yes, even that's possible. So you can just directly click on this graph icon, which is available in the right side top. So once you click on this icon, it will show you the list of graphs which is already available. So depending upon your requirement, you can choose the appropriate graph. So for my requirement, I wanted to view the traffic which is utilized for the last 1 week. Then I just click on this traffic utilization, where you have an option to customize the time period here. So from here, I will just choose the time filter as last 24 hours, which would automatically show me the traffic which is utilized for the last 24 hours. As you see here, the total number of traffic which is transmitted, traffic which is utilized, minimum, maximum, the 95th percentile, as well as the average, everything is displayed here. And if you wanted to export this, yes, you can. You also have an option to export this graph, and you can also schedule it according to your requirement. So this is how the interface works on OpManager. Now that we have seen the interface monitoring, the next one is the interface templates. So OpManager has various interface templates. So each and every interface which is discovered on OpManager is associated with an appropriate interface template, wherein by navigating to the template or by accessing to the appropriate interface template, you can enable or disable the monitoring for the appropriate interface type. You can also configure the monitoring interval. Say, for example, you wanted to customize the monitoring interval of a particular interface. Then yes, you can very well do it by navigating to the interface template. You can also set thresholds for the traffic utilization, the errors rate, as well as the discard rate, which is flowing through that appropriate interface. And you can also enable the interface status polling. So classical example for this would be when it comes to a downtime. So you know that there is a network downtime which is happening during which a network cable would be plugged in and then plugged in and plugged out. So this is a very well known downtime to you. So in that type of situations, whenever you plug out a network port or whenever you plug out a network cable, so OpManager would definitely alert you stating the operation status or the admin status is down. So in case if you wanted to ignore those alerts and if you just wanted to monitor the utilization or the error or the discard rate for the appropriate interface, then yes, you can just disable the status poll alone. So let me take you to the UI and let me show you on how to access these interface templates. So from the settings, you can navigate to configuration where you have an option called interface templates, where you can just choose interface types and all the interface templates which is available in OpManager would be listed. As you see here, this Ethernet type template is being used by 118 interfaces, which is already discovered and added on OpManager. So in case if I wanted to tweak any setting in this Ethernet template, then yes, I can just click on the appropriate template, change the monitoring interval according to my preference. So by default, it's 900. I can change it to 600 seconds. In case if I wanted to tweak the threshold for utilization or error or discard rate, then yes, I can change it according to my requirement. And as I said earlier, in case if I wanted to disable the status poll, yes, I can do it. And once I have done it, I can just choose save and apply, which would automatically apply to all the interfaces which is using this particular Ethernet type. However, in case if you wanted to do it for a specific interface alone instead of bulk, then yes, we also have that option. So you can directly get into the appropriate interface page by going to inventory interfaces, choose the appropriate interface. And once you are into the interface summary page, you have the 3 horizontal lines which you can see in the right side. So from there, you can just choose the threshold settings, where the same options which we seen earlier in the interface template would be displayed. So you can just change it according to your requirement and choose save, which would be applied only for this particular interface alone. So now that we have seen how interface is being monitored and various interface templates which is available on OpManager, the next one is the interface groups. So say for example, you belong to a banking infrastructure, you have 3 separate buildings for your bank, and each building has 7 floors, and each floor is associated to a specific department. Say for example, 6th floor is designated to finance department, 5th floor is designated to the online banking department. And if you wanted to group the interface based on site or department or customers, then yes, it is very well possible. So interface grouping option is available from the latest versions of OpManager. So in case if you are using an older version of OpManager, please update to the latest version so that you can avail this feature. So once you are in the latest version, you can have access to the interface grouping feature where you can, yes, group based on the site, department, or customers. You can also configure the threshold based on this particular interface group which you are going to create. You can also create dashboards for this specific group, and you also have access to the widgets and reports for the groups which you will be creating. So let me take you to the UI and let me show you how to create an interface group. So you can directly monitor to settings, configuration groups, where you can just choose the option add. You can have a group name. So I'm going to create an interface group for the department which is online banking. From here, I'll be choosing the option interface, and I'll be selecting the criteria for this particular group. So say for example, I wanted to create a group for which all the interface admin status is up, as well as I wanted to create a group where the interface type is an Ethernet config. So yes, I'll just select the criteria according to the requirement. And once I have all the criteria here, I'll just choose next, which would automatically list the complete interfaces which satisfies the appropriate criteria. So from here, I'll be choosing the parent interface, or the most important interface with which the health status of the complete group would be dependent. Once I choose the parent interface, I'll be just clicking on save, with which an interface group is automatically created. So I can just click on the online banking, and as you see here, all the interfaces which has matched the criteria which have given is automatically created. So from this, you have an option to create reports, you have an option to create dashboards and widgets. Also, in case if you wanted to have a threshold settings configured, then yes, you can go ahead and do it just for this particular interface group alone. So now that we have seen how to create groups for various interfaces, it is also important that you need to monitor the hardware components of the devices. So now we have seen everything with respect to network and network monitoring. So when it comes to network device such as a router, it is also important that you need to monitor the temperature of a router or the power supply of a router. So yes, hardware monitoring is very well possible with OpManager, where you can monitor the critical hardware metrics like fan speed, the voltage, the temperature, etc. You can also suppress the hardware alerts in case if it is not required for you. You can configure the monitoring interval according to your requirements so that the hardware monitoring would be pulled depending upon the appropriate monitoring interval. So for now, when it comes to network devices, we extend the support for hardware monitoring to the Cisco and Juniper devices. And when it comes to servers, we extend our support to HP and Dell servers. Let me take you to the UI and let me show you on how to enable the hardware monitoring first. So in order to enable the hardware monitoring, you can directly navigate to settings. Under monitoring, you have an option called monitor settings, where you have an option called hardware monitoring. So I see that this is disabled as of now. So let me go ahead and enable it just by choosing the enable option. Customize the polling interval according to your requirement. And in case if you wanted to suppress the hardware monitoring alarms, then yes, you can just enable or disable here. And once this is done, you can directly choose save. So once it is saved, you can directly get into the appropriate service in order to view the hardware monitoring tab. So let me take you to one of the server which I have, and let me show you. So once I get into the inventory page, I'll be just choosing the appropriate server or the appropriate networking device. So in my case, this is a Dell server. So once you navigate to the appropriate server summary page, you can see a dedicated tab for hardware. So once you access these tabs, it will take a few seconds to load all the metrics for each and every hardware monitor. So as you see here, you can see the metrics for battery, you can see the metrics for fan, memory, power, processor, storage, everything, every hardware monitoring metrics which would be displayed here. So from here, you can even monitor the hardware monitors as well. So in case if you suspect you wanted to change the monitoring itself, you see that it is very low, then yes, you can definitely go ahead and change it. You can just choose this edit option over here and change it according to your requirement. So now that we have seen hardware monitors, the next is the IP SLA, which is the WAN monitor. So say for example, you have two different companies or two different branches. So you have your headquarters available in Austin, Texas, and you have your development center located in India. And you are transferring some files between your headquarters to the development center or vice versa. And you see that there is a lag or the file transfer is very slow. Or in case you are having a voice call between your headquarters and development center, and you see that the voice call is lagging, then yes, it is required. It is essential that you need to monitor the WAN also. So OpManager allows you to monitor the WAN, the VoIP from OpManager. So with which you can monitor parameters such as latency, jitter, MTTR, as well as other critical metrics as well. You also have access to the detailed reports based on the link availability, the error statistics, as well as the round trip time frames. So the basic prerequisite for enabling the IP SLA is the end device should be of the Cisco device on which the IP SLA agent should be enabled. The version of the iOS which is running on the Cisco device should be version 12.3 and higher, as well as the end device should be configured to send traps to OpManager server. Finally, the SNMP credential which you use to monitor should have both read and write credentials enabled. So these are the few prerequisites which you have. So before you proceed with adding an IP SLA monitor, make sure that you have all these prerequisites satisfied. Let me take you to the UI and let me show you on how to add an IP SLA monitor. So from network, I'll be choosing the option IP SLA. Yes, we have a dedicated tab for IP SLA. So depending on my requirement, whether it's a VoIP monitor or a WAN monitor, so I'll be just selecting the appropriate tab. Choose Add WAN Monitor. From here, I'll be choosing the name for this WAN monitor. Choose the source device. So let me have the name configured as file transfer. Choose the end device, which is the router in my case, as well as choose the source interface. Input the destination IP address, which should be, and have a display name configured. WAN headquarters. And I have the polling interval configured as well. So once you choose save, the monitor will be automatically added. So once the monitor is added, you can just get into the appropriate monitor, which will show you the complete statistics of this particular VoIP monitor or WAN monitor. So as you see here, the availability, the threshold, the round trip time history, everything would automatically be monitored here, and it would be available to you in the form of graphs from which you can have reports generated as well. So you can also identify where the outage has happened by viewing the hop-wise latency graphs. So you can also identify the network paths with high round trip time, and I believe WAN monitor would be very much useful for you. So now that we have seen IPSLA monitors, the next is a custom SNMP monitor. So you have seen that OpManager has various SNMP monitors for various metrics which you wanted to monitor for various devices. However, you find that there is a specific parameter which you would like to monitor, and OpManager does not has an SNMP monitor for that. Then in that case, yes, OpManager allows you to create a custom SNMP monitor for your requirement. So the basic prerequisite for creating an SNMP monitor, a custom SNMP monitor, is the end device should be configured with the SNMP credential, and the SNMP credential should pass for the appropriate device. The second one is you need to have the appropriate vendor MIPS. So MIP is nothing but a collection of OIDs, and OID is an instance which would represent the appropriate parameter which you would like to monitor on OpManager. So you can have access to the MIPS by two ways. Either you can directly get in touch with the vendor or email or phone, and you can get the appropriate MIP file, or you can have access to the appropriate vendor website where they will be having the repository of various MIPS for the appropriate model of the devices. So you can access the MIP repository and you can download the appropriate MIP. So once you have these prerequisites, the next is uploading the MIP file. So OpManager stores all the MIP file in a folder called MIP, which is available under OpManager folder. All you need to do is, once you have the MIPS ready, you can just copy and paste the MIP under the OpManager MIP folder, which will automatically import the appropriate MIP into OpManager. So let me show you that folder. So in my case, the OpManager setup is installed on an E drive. So let me navigate to E, ManageEngine OpManager. And as you see here, that there is a folder called MIPS, which has the complete MIP files which OpManager uses. So as I said earlier, all you need to do is just a copy paste of the appropriate MIP which you received from your vendor, and that would automatically upload the MIP onto OpManager. Once you have the MIP stored here, yes, you can go ahead and create a custom SNMP monitor. So you can directly navigate to the appropriate SNMP enabled device, choose the monitor, and have the option which is add SNMP monitor chosen from actions. So say for example, my requirement is to create a monitor which would give me the free disk space for just the D drive alone. So say for example, my hard disk is a 250 GB capacity, and I have partitioned it into 5 different partitions, C, D, E, and F, and G. So I wanted to create a monitor only for D drive, and I don't want to monitor other partition, then yes, it is very well possible. So in this case, I will be just choosing the appropriate OID for my requirement. So in my case, the MIP file which I will be using is the host resources MIP, and the OID which I will be using is the HR storage size. So before you go ahead and create this monitor, OpManager allows you to test this OID and check whether you are receiving the response for this OID from the device or not. So as you see here, yes, we are able to receive the response from the device. So yes, then I will be going ahead and choosing the option query device, which would give me the appropriate values. So from here, I'll be just choosing the instance, the custom instance alone. I'll be choosing the appropriate index and display name. And once I have chosen everything, you can see here that the index would be listed out here. So from here, my requirement is to monitor the D drive alone, or my requirement is to create a monitor for .2 instance alone. Then yes, I'll be just selecting this .2 instance. Choose next. Enter the monitor name, which would be HR storage size instance C. I'll be choosing the interval, and I'll be choosing the unit, which would be in GB or MB. And once you choose add monitor, yes, as you see here, the monitor is automatically added. So this is how you will be creating a custom SNMP monitor for a specific device. However, in case if you wanted to do it in bulk, yes, it is very well possible. So you can directly navigate to settings, monitoring, performance monitors. There you have an option called add monitor. So once you choose add performance monitor, you can choose SNMP, or in case if you wanted to have bulk SNMP custom monitors created. So as you see here, you have mathematical operations like this as well. And if you wanted to do functional expressions such as Celsius to Fahrenheit or kilobit to megabit, then yes, you can very well do that. So as I said, you can just choose bulk SNMP monitor, where you can directly go ahead and paste the complete mathematical expression of the OID here. You can choose the monitor name, the functional expression in case if you wanted to do. So say for example, I wanted to do monitor the temperature. I wanted to create a custom monitor for monitoring the temperature, but the output is in Celsius, and I wanted to convert it into Fahrenheit. Then yes, I can use this functional expression. I can also go ahead and customize the thresholds when it comes to various critical levels such as attention, trouble, or critical, and the real value. So everything you can do it from this page itself. So instead of creating a custom monitor one by one, you can go ahead and use this bulk SNMP monitor function, with which you can create bulk monitors. So now that we have seen how to create SNMP monitor and how to create bulk SNMP monitors, the next one is the maps. So with maps, we have an option to visualize the complete network geographically. You can identify the location, as well as you can identify the devices on the geographical, and you can easily identify where exactly the outage has happened. OpManager has both Google Maps and Zoho Maps. So now that Google has started to charge for the API calls for Google Maps. So we have borrowed Zoho Maps, which is available completely free. But in case if you have the API for the Google Maps, then yes, you can very well go ahead and use Google Maps as well. So again, it's depending upon your requirement. Let me show you on the UI on how to create a map. So we have a dedicated tab for maps where you can just choose maps, and in case if you wanted to access Google Maps, then yes, you can have access to Google Maps. Since I have already configured the Google Maps, I can directly get into the Google Maps. But in case if you have not configured the Google Maps, then yes, I can show you the configuration settings. So yes, let me go ahead and get into the Maps page. So once I choose Google Maps, it would ask you to download and extract a file, which is already uploaded here, and just upload the same HTML file here and specify the API key which you use. So once you have did these things, and once you choose submit, automatically Google Maps would start loading. And as I said earlier, we also have Zoho Maps, which is completely free. So depending upon your location, you can just double click on the appropriate location. So say for example, I have one of my office or one of my branch shop located in Fremont. So I can just double click on the location, select the device which I wanted to add, and once I choose add, yes, the appropriate device would automatically gets added. So from this, depending upon my geographical location, I can go ahead and start adding the devices. And as you see here, I have added many devices based on the geographical, and this allows you to view all the devices geographically, and you can easily identify in which office an outage has happened, and then you can go ahead and take the necessary actions. So this is maps. So next to maps is the business view. So with business view, what you can do is you can group devices based on the geographical site. So you can create a logical view for your network devices, and also you can view their performance. you can drill down to a specific page of device and interface in case if you need to have detailed information on the performance just with a single click alone. And the next one is in case if you wanted to identify the performance of the device as well as the interface links which is connected between devices, then yes, you can use the color codes which is available in OpManager. And in case if you wanted to have shortcuts from your headquarters to your branch office, then yes, you can also have shortcuts configured on a business view. So let me take you to the UI and let me show you how to create a business view, and also let me show you an example of a business view which I already have created for you. So again, from maps, you can choose the option business view. So you can choose the option create business view, where you can directly drag and drop the devices which you have already added on OpManager. So you can create links between the devices. So I wanted to have a link created between the Texas office to one of my endpoint available in the development center located in India. Then yes, I can create a link. I can choose the appropriate interface with which I wanted to monitor the specific link, both from the source device, and I can have a color label for this specific link. And in case if I wanted to have an IPSLA monitor interface configured in this business view, yes, I can go ahead and choose that as well. So once I have chosen the link, I can just choose save. And the same criteria, I'll be doing it in the other device as well. So let me create a link between our office to our router, monitoring a different interface. So in case if you wanted to have a background image for this business view, depending upon the geographical site, yes, we already have various templates for the background images. Or in case if you wanted to have a custom background image, yes, you can go ahead and upload depending upon your requirement. So I can just take one as an example, and I can just place the device accordingly, one in North America, one in South America, and one in Australia. And I can save this business view depending on my requirement. So this would be headquarters development. And yes, I can go ahead and choose save. So it should automatically create this business view. So with this, you can, now that you can see how this link is performing, whether the admin status is up or down. So everything you can just see just by navigating your mouse to the link itself. And also you can see the load or the status of the link just with a color component. As you see here, this is an orange and this is a blue, so which would automatically vary depending on this. So let me show on one business view which I have already created, which would be very much useful for you, just to have an example. So let me take to the Chennai business view, which is our development center. So with this you can create various business views. We don't have any limit on creating business views, so you can create anything according to your requirement. So this is one of the business view, as you see here. The list of critical servers as well as the network devices which is there in our development center. So now that we have seen maps as well as business views, the next one is the rack view and 3D floor view. So as you very well know that every organization will have a data center where all the critical network equipments would be available. And as you know that the access to the development centers or the access to the data centers is restricted in the presence of critical devices. So situations in that, OpManager allows you to create a replica of your data center. So you can have a rack view created on OpManager with which you can easily identify where a particular network device is available, in which rack is available, and also if you wanted to have a replica of the complete floor of your data center, yes, you can even have access to the 3D floor view where you can easily navigate virtually and you can find the appropriate switch which is available in which rack for your easy reference. So let me take you to the UI and let me show you on how to create a rack view as well as a 3D floor view. So again, from maps, we have an option called 3D floor views. So where you can choose the option create a 3D floor view or create a rack view. So let me proceed with the rack view first. So let me go ahead with create, which would automatically list all the switches which I have already added, switches or routers. All I need to do is just drag and drop the device so that I can place it in the rack accordingly. In case if I wanted to have the heights increased, then yes, I can increase the height to the appropriate units. And if I wanted to have numbering from the top, yes, I can do that. Just a second. So yes, and in case if you wanted to have the orientation as rear view and front view, yes, you can have it. And you can just choose a name for this rack, development rack. And have this rack view created. So once you have created a rack view, you can easily access the rack view. So it will also show the color code depending upon the status of this particular rack. So as you see here, this is a red one and this is an orange, which gives an opinion to me that there is some critical alarm or an attention alarm there on that appropriate switch or the appropriate router. So yes, you can directly get into the appropriate device page and you can check what's wrong with the appropriate device. So once you have the various rack views created, then comes the 3D floor view. So 3D floor view is also the same. You can get into the option called create new, where it will give you a replica of a floor with which you can just drag and drop the rack view which you have created. You can choose the paths, how to navigate to this particular rack, and you can choose the aisle. You can choose the walls, which would represent that there is wall. So once you have added all these, you can just have a save name. So here in my view, this would be Dave floor, and I can just choose save to save this 3D floor view. And once it is saved, as you see here, this is how a 3D floor view would look like. So depending upon your requirement, you can create n number of rack views, and once the rack views are created, with the rack views, you can go ahead and start building the 3D floor view, which would give you a complete replica of your data center. So next is the dashboard and NOC views. So now that we have seen how to group devices based on geographical, how to group devices based on the geographical sites, and how to have the 3D floor views and rack views enabled. So finally is the dashboard and NOC view. So OpManager allows you to create dashboards for various metrics which you wanted to have it as a single view. So OpManager has various widgets as well. We have more than 100 widgets. So depending upon your requirement, you can select the appropriate widget and you can use that widget to project the appropriate data. So creating a dashboard is simple. So you directly can navigate to the dashboard page and choose this plus icon, which will allow you to create a new dashboard. So let me create a dashboard for our development center. So once I choose next, as you see here, various widgets which is available here in OpManager will be displayed. So depending upon my requirement, I can just choose the appropriate widget. I wanted to have all the alarms which is there on OpManager to be projected. I wanted to have uh, other parameters such as devices by availability or devices by packet loss or device exceeding some CPU utilization which you have configured. Yes, it is very well possible. So just select the appropriate widget, choose next, which would allow you to have this dashboard access. So you can just choose who is required to view this dashboard. So in case if you wanted to give access to administrators, yes, you can just choose, or to operators, yes, you can just choose. So basically it's the access. So you are just giving an access to view this dashboard. And once you choose create, then yes, automatically this dashboard would be created. Just give me a minute. Let me create the dashboard in another setup of mine. I'll be choosing all alarms. I'll be choosing the devices by availability widget. Choose next. Give access to the administrators and choose create. And as you see, the dashboard is automatically created. So with this, you can create n number of dashboards. And in case if you wanted to have project this dashboards in a network operation center or in a form of a NOC view, yes, even that is possible from OpManager. So creating a NOC view is also easier. All you need to select is the NOC view icon, which would allow you an option to create a NOC view. So with which you can create and customize the NOC view. So if you wanted to have the refresh interval set to 30 seconds or 1 minute, so yes, and you can select the appropriate dashboards which you wanted to project it on the NOC view. So once this is selected, just choose create NOC view and the NOC view would automatically be created. You can view the NOC view by directly getting into the NOC view page and just choosing this icon development, and a link, a new window would automatically be opened, which would give you the complete NOC view. As you see here, the complete statistics of whatever which is being displayed on the dashboard is shown here, and this would also get refreshed every 30 seconds depending upon the refresh interval which you have configured earlier. So if I want, I can view the enterprise dashboard, I can view the system performance dashboard. This can be changed according to your requirement. So let's get back to the So the last one is the network reports. So you have seen that we have these many kinds of monitoring when it comes to network devices, but when it comes to reports, in case if you wanted to have it in a reports form so that you can submit it to your stakeholders, yes, OpManager has reports specifically for network devices alone. Reports such as router or switch health report, interface availability report, report which identifies heavy incoming and outgoing traffic. So everything which you require is already available in the form of reports on OpManager. So you can easily access the reports by getting into the reports page, choose OpManager, choose health and performance, where you can get access to the network reports. So as you see here, router interfaces by traffic utilization or by receive utilization, routers by memory utilization. So we have these many kind of reports. So depending upon your requirement, you can go ahead and choose the appropriate report, and you can then submit the appropriate report to your stakeholders. So with this, we come to the end of this particular webinar. So the next training we would be seeing on fault management and IT automation, which will happen on 28th April, that is next week, where we'll be discussing in depth on proactive monitoring, alarms and notification, SNMP traps and syslogs, integrations, as well as IT automation using the workflow. Now it's time for a few questions. Yes, we did receive few questions from various people who have joined the today's session. So let me discuss those questions. The first one, can OpManager create business view based on the layer 2 discovery? Yes, creating a business view is very well possible. As you have seen in the last session, how to create a layer 2 map. So once you have the layer 2 discovery enabled and once you have the layer 2 map ready, you can directly navigate to the appropriate layer 2 map. So this is one of the layer 2 map which I have created. So from the settings icon, you have an option called Save as Business View, which would automatically convert this layer 2 map into a business view. So that would satisfy your requirement, I believe. So the next question is how to create custom widgets based on the collected data. So yes, as I told you earlier, OpManager has more than 100 widgets. However, in case if you wanted to have a custom widget created, then yes, it is very well possible. So when you are when you are creating a new dashboard, so in this case, it would be my headquarters dashboard. And from here, you have an option called custom HTML or text. So you can choose this widget, choose next, have the access configured accordingly, and click on create. So once this is created, you can see the custom HTML widget created. You can just edit this particular widget, and if you have an iframe tag enabled HTML text, so you can just copy paste this HTML text here and just choose save, which would automatically create a custom widget for your requirement. So the next one is, will OpManager automatically update the interface details, or should we do it manually? So yes, automatically OpManager updates the interface details. So every 24 hours, the details of the appropriate interface gets updated. However, in case if you wanted to do it manually, yes, you can do it manually as well. So the next one is there a way to add devices on bulk to maps? Yes, it is very well possible. So in case if you wanted to ignore addition of devices one by one on maps, and if you wanted to do it bulk, yes, it is possible with the help of a CSV file import. So all you need to do is just navigate to the Zoho Maps page or the Google Maps page, click on the settings icon and choose the option import devices, where we already gave a sample file. So you should have a CSV file which is available in this particular format, which would have the IP address of the device, the latitude and longitude of the device. So once you have filled this for the bulk devices which you wanted to add it in the map, so you can just upload the CSV file over here. Once you choose import, automatically all the devices would get imported and placed on the map according to the longitude and latitude which you have provided in the CSV file. The next one is, can I customize the link color in the business view based on the traffic? Yes, color customization is very well possible when it comes to business view. So you can customize it by navigating to settings, general settings, system settings, where we have an option called map settings. So here you can customize the color code. So if you wanted to change the color of 70 to 85 into some other color such as black or anything, you can just choose the appropriate color from the color palette and you can just choose save, with which you can change the color codes according to your requirement. So the last question is, can we add custom columns in the inventory page? Yes, it is very well possible. So let me take you to the inventory page. By default, these are all the columns which is available as well, which is displayed in OpManager. However, in case if you wanted to have another additional column, say for example where these devices are located, then yes, you can just click on this table icon, choose the appropriate custom field. So if you wanted to have a department or the floor or the building, yes, anything is possible. Just select it appropriately and just choose OK, which would automatically list the additional column. And in case if you have the data present there for the every devices, then automatically the data will also be viewable here. So with this, we come to the end of the question and answer session. So in case if you wanted to have access to various videos of OpManager, yes, you can feel free to view it by navigating to our YouTube channel, which would be youtube.com/OpManager Tech Videos. Or in case if you wanted to have help for OpManager for various modules, then yes, you can feel free to visit our help website, which would be help.opmanager.com, where we have given the step-by-step procedures on how to create each and every options which is available across various modules on OpManager. Or in case if you wanted to access our forums, yes, you can directly navigate to forums.manageengine.com/opmanager. Or in case if you wanted to have access to support, if you run into any issues, or if you wanted to have our support representative to help you out for any kind of requirements, yes, you can contact support by shooting an email to opmanager-support@manageengine.com, or you can directly call us to the toll-free numbers which is displayed on the screen. So the next one is we also have a free webinar which should be happening on May 6th, 2020 in 2 different time zones, 11 a.m. EDT as well as 6 a.m. GMT, for the benefit of larger audience, where we'll be discussing on various other topics such as how to monitor the VEP and capacity of your organization, how to secure your network from attacks. So now that everyone is working from home, it is important that you need to secure your network as well. So yes, we will be discussing upon that specific topic on May 6th. So in case if you're interested, you can feel free to register for the appropriate webinar by navigating to the link which is displayed on the screen. Also, in case if you wanted to have certification on OpManager, where you would like to have certified as an OpManager professional, yes, we also have offer certifications. You can directly navigate to the link which is shown on the screen, pick the appropriate certification level, and you can get certified as an OpManager professional once you have passed the evaluation. So thanks a lot for joining today's session. Hope this would be very much useful for you. So we would meet you all again